Yeah, hi everybody. Hope you enjoyed your tea. I have an unusual title for my presentation, and I have an unusual name as well. It's in white font, guys may not see it, but yeah, why sell sushi in an Idli shop? And Bruce Lee Money is my name. So let me set the record straight. I am not an Oriental restaurateur or a chef trying to solve some ridiculous problem of trying to sell sushi in an Idli shop. I'm a musician, and I'm a musician with a band from Bangalore, like she announced. It's an English rock band from Bangalore, and I've been in that band for the last 22 years. Right. So before I talk about this question and how I'm proposing to answer it this afternoon, I just have to tell you that that's my mother, and she heard about this talk that I was doing. And as you can see by her appearance, she's a traditionally brought up South Indian woman, and so she naturally wanted to know what sushi was. I had to explain. I had to tell her what sushi was, and this was her immediate and visceral response. So, so it's when I was asked to speak about selling sushi in an idli shop and relating that to my journey in music and everything else, this was the first thing I had to share. Anyway, so why sell sushi in an idli shop? Why even ask the question? Well, the point is, if you've been in music for as long as I have, doing English rock music in this country, there are lots of questions you have to ask yourself through those years, and this just happened to be one of them. And I'm going to attempt to find an answer to why sell sushi in an idli shop with two or three different things. One is a question of identity, who we are. Two is a question of uh, falling in love with something and staying true to that love for as long as you possibly can. And three is finding the right reasons to hang on and keep doing something, keep staying true to who you are and what you fell in love with. Okay, so let's start with the first one, which is identity. Right? So we're Indians, and as Indians, the word Indian itself is it's not an easy thing to sort of define or encapsulate in simple terms. We all know that it's a complex and multi-dimensional kind of thing to call something or someone Indian. This is an Indian building. These are Indian buildings. That's the IIM Bangalore, designed by an Indian architect. These are also Indian buildings. This is pretty much a symbol of India. These are Indian, definably and characteristically Indian, right? This is an Indian mall. This is an Indian market. Both are places where Indians hang out and go and shop. These are Indian school uniforms. Both are Indian school uniforms. This and this are both Indian school uniforms. This is Indian music. This is quite clearly a performance of an Indian classical piece. But it's interesting to note that the tabla player is wearing a white shirt and a tie. So this is again an encapsulation of the rich variety of the Indian experience. This is also Indian music. This is somewhat similar to the band I play in, the instruments we have on stage, and the way our stages look. This is also definingly Indian. These are Indian languages. This particular one is, I find, very interesting. So there's two languages on this. I'm sure some of you don't know what the first one is. It's in Kannada, which is the language spoken in Karnataka where I live. And of course, the second one is English, the way it is used and abused very much in this country. But the really interesting part of this thing is that the Kannada lettering on top says Vignesh Waste Mart. So in a way, it is phonetically spelt better than the English that's written below it. So if you if you knew no English at all, you could read the Kannada words. If you knew Kannada, you'd read Vignesh Waste Mart and be pronouncing the words exactly correctly, even without knowing what they meant. So this is a typical thing about how language is used in this country and how, as Indians, we experience this, whether you live in a city or whether you live outside of a city, this almost perpetual feeling of being in a constant state of jugaad. Right? There's constant improvisation, constant adaptation, and constant overcoming of problems, large and small. And that's how this country works. That's how we make it work. That's how we do pretty much everything that we do here. We live in a constant state of jamming. right? So I just had to share this. I'm a big fan of Terry Pratchett. I don't know if anybody here reads Terry Pratchett, but there's a book of his called Feet of Clay. And there's a passage here which sort of tries to express how futile it is to boil down the rich and chaotic variety of human experience into some small, words or phrases or terms. And in this particular passage, he actually thumbs his nose at the Sherlock Holmesian method of, spotting someone's a little frayed button on a coat or a callus on a finger, and concocting a vast sort of history and story behind that. And towards the end he says, what arrogance, what an insult to the rich and chaotic variety of the human experience. If you can look at someone and say, hey, I think you were a stonemason and you have just fallen on hard times. There could be so many explanations for the way someone looks or the way their clothes hang and so on. So it's really difficult to encapsulate the Indian experience in simple terms. Which is why when it came to defining ourselves, defining us as people and the work that we do, we had a big challenge with the band, right? So we call our style of music Bangalore rock. After spending many years working with hideous hyphenated terms to come up with what was the kind of music that we played, right? And the band Thermal and a Quarter also was named because when it was formed, it had 3 Malayalis and 1 quarter Malayali. So that was thermal and a quarter. So again, the rich variety of Indian experience, right? And so that's us. That's how we define our music. And we fell in love thanks to accidents of birth and schooling. We started thinking in English, and we fell in love with playing the guitar, playing the drums, coming together in a jam room and writing a bunch of songs about our lives in this country, about the people that we meet. And that's what has kept us going for the last 22 years, and we kept doing it, right? But strangely enough, because of again who we are and what we do, there's this peculiar sense of unbelongingness. I think some of you will identify with me on this, but for those of us who think in English, who live in the cities in India, there's a certain sense of not belonging here that we feel after a while, because we're exposed to the world, we've traveled, we've done things, and there's a sense of, yeah, I mean, this is home. I love the food, I love my parents, but there is something that's still saying, I'm not all the way home here. At the same time, we're not all the way home anywhere else as well. I mean, when we travel abroad, we integrate pretty well with people over there, from the west to the far east even. But we're again never truly at home. And the way the world is going these days, we're not even truly welcome anymore. People don't want us over there. We're too brown. But in that sense, yes, we are the bastards of the world, if I may use that word. We unbelong everywhere, but we're actually quite comfortable with that reality too, because it's a great fuel for creative expression, right? So we've covered who we are, how we define ourselves, what we love. Now the third thing is about finding the right reasons to keep doing, improvising, adapting, and overcoming the problems, to keep doing what you love and staying true to who you are. So I must bring in a transformational experience that we had at the Edinburgh Fringe. So for those of you who don't know, the Fringe is the largest arts festival in the world. It happens in August every year, 26 nights back to back, non-stop. Over 3,000 artists from around the world, from every conceivable kind of performing art come there and play. The whole city hosts the festival, so you have homes, pubs, coffee shops, bookstores, cellars, train stations, buses, everything becomes a performance space, right? And it runs 26 nights back to back, right? So playing at the Fringe is, if you've not done it before, and you're not known there. Nobody knows you there. Nobody's going to come to your shows because they don't know you. And you also have to do everything yourself, right? So we have to book the venue. So I can choose to book a 1,000-seater venue or a 10-seater venue. It's my choice, and I can do it. We booked a 100-seater venue, stayed safe. We have to book our own sound. We have to book accommodation. We have to book a sound engineer, and we have to do this all 3 or 4 months in advance and pay, of course, Great Britain pounds for everything. So it costs a lot of money. So the only way that we understand that we'll make it through this, the only way we'll come out the other end of the Fringe and not be disastrously in debt, is that if we bring people to our shows every single night. 26 nights in a row. And nobody knows us there. We're not a big name. Over here, yeah, we have someone Potter as a name that some people recognize. But over there, nobody knows us. So, what happened? Okay. Where are we? Yes, okay. So at the fringe, you will see artists like this. So this is a juggler throwing knives around, standing on a ladder in his underwear. Theater acts, still life acts, outlandish costumes. The whole city goes crazy for those 26 nights that I mentioned. But yes, so how do you start bringing people to your show? So the first thing we did was create something to sell what we're doing, and this was a flyer that we made there. It's called Bangalore Rock. Very careful to identify who we are again, as well as define who we are not, because it says that underneath non-Bollywood original Indian music, being very clear what we are not to define who we are, right? And that's us on the streets of Edinburgh. This is actually on the Royal Mile. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But we're wearing these outlandish, ridiculous helmets on our heads that look like auto rickshaws, right? So why are we doing that? Because on the Royal Mile is like the MG Road of Edinburgh, right? And during the festival, it's 26 nights, they block off a section of it for only pedestrian traffic. And in that section, you have all these artists who nobody knows, who are just upcoming artists. And you have thousands of people who come from all over the world looking for things to watch, looking for acts that they should go and check out. So you have a whole bunch of artists and you have a whole bunch of their customers all in the same space, right? So what you do at the Royal Mile is that you try and put on some kind of show, because you have roughly between 20 and 30 seconds to approach a complete stranger and make a pitch that will inspire that stranger to come to your show, right? So we did this. We wore these auto helmets on our heads. We gave out flyers saying Bangalore Rock with a cow on it, and we had 20 seconds to come up with a pitch that would convince this person, who barely even speaks English sometimes because they come from all over the world, to come to my show that night or another night. And you do this 5 to 6 hours a day, right? If you want people to come to your show, you spend 5 hours on the street wearing this or doing whatever else that you think might be effective, and giving out flyers 5 to 6 hours a day. That's how you get people into your gig, right? At the gig itself, now the theater we had rented, you see all that stuff on stage. I hope it's visible. Drum kits, amplifiers, guitars, microphones, monitors, all of that. So the venue you rent isn't exclusively rented for you. Other people use it as well. So just before our musical performance, maybe you had a dance performance, a theatrical performance, and so on. So you get an empty stage, and your performance time was about 45 to 50 minutes. You get an empty stage, and you get 7 minutes to put that entire thing up. 7 minutes to get all that kit onto stage, wire everything up, check it, and be ready when the first people start walking in. 7 minutes. Once the people walk in, you've got to do your best. You might have a full house, you might have 100 people, you might have 4 people, you might have 7 people. Doesn't matter. You've got to give it your best, right? The next picture, in fact, is very artfully done by our photographer there. So you can't see the audience because there was no audience. There were 4 people there. So, right? So this is the way you sell it afterwards. But anyway, so you play your gig, you do the best you can, no matter how many people are there, and then you have 9 minutes to break everything off and give it a complete fully stage again, right? And you do this 26 nights back to back, okay, without a break. No Saturdays, no Sundays. That's what you do. Okay. You also take every available opportunity to play, right? So when you're on the mile, when you're flying people, somebody say, "Hey, there's a church I know that give you a free gig. So why don't you go and play in there? Maybe you'll meet some more people. You'll sell some CDs and so on." So we played in churches. We played in food tents. We played. That's me busking, wearing on the street, wearing an auto on my head. That's us playing in another church. And this whole thing about every gig is important, no matter how many people are in front of you, whether you're playing on the street or you're playing in a nice theater. Every single thing that you do, again, doing what you love, right, is super important that you give it your 110%. So one of the nights when we had 9 people, one of the people sitting in there was a reviewer, another person was someone who picks a showcase artist, where basically you're picked among many other acts of the fringe to showcase at a special event, so you can reach more people, right? So we were part of this thing called the Pick of the Fringe, and at the end of the festival, we also won an award called the Spirit of the Fringe Award, which is given only to 7 people among the 3,000 that participate there. So again, it doesn't matter. Thanks. It doesn't matter how many people are in the audience. It doesn't matter how hard you have to work. If who you are and what you're doing is really important to you, those things don't matter at all. You will do whatever it takes to continue being who you are and continue doing the work that you love. So this is a story of the three things that I mentioned. This is staying true to who you are, falling in love with something, finding something to love, right, and doing that your whole life, finding the right reasons to keep doing that and not changing despite what may happen, despite who's listening, who's not. Just keeping it going because there's nothing else really that you can do. So since we're talking about sushi and idli shops, I'm going to play the song for you before I finish, and hopefully you will, by listening to it, I'll have sold you some sushi, even though you might have the same reaction that my mother had at the beginning. Right, so I'm going to put this down, turn this off.
Go with the flow. So this is a song called The Scene, from which those words come, selling sushi in a weekly shop. Alright, here we go. The big ticket rock stars, they come and they go, with folk fusion gimmicks, comedy, electronics. Our story's been the same since 1996. Selling sushi in an idli shop for you, with rock and blues and jazz and rolls on that menu. Selling sushi is the scene. Hope you know what I mean. Selling sushi is the scene. That's how we wrap up this dream. This dream. I see you're a producer of passion. I see you're the chairman of cool, but if you're the director of my music, I'd rather have the president's rule. I'd like to be just like Lennon. You know, sometimes I play the fool. You can turn an event into history. Your sponsors on auto renew. The drones, they're tripping Kingfisher as you fuck with the bands at your venue. Selling sushi is the scene. Hope you know what I mean. Selling sushi is the scene. That's how we wrap up this dream. This dream. sushi. Would you like some chutney with that?
Just to wrap up, I played this song. Okay, the mic.
I played the song for my mother, and from there she went to there. So I sold some sushi. Yeah, I put a smile on someone's face. Thanks.